and welcome to another vlog. So today I'm taking you on a journey to Chikmagalur, a place I visited a few months back. So chalo, shuru se shuru karte hain. I started my day with breakfast at this local gem called Town Canteen. Can't go wrong with dosa and filter coffee. Can you? Now here's the thing about Chikmagalur, it doesn't have much of public transport when it comes to exploring its top attractions, so it becomes a necessity that you have to rent a vehicle. So the next we did was renting a scooty, which costed us 500 bucks. By we, I mean I was traveling solo, but since I stayed at a hostel, I found someone to hang out with. After that, we went to Deviramma Temple. It is a temple with a scenic backdrop surrounded by hills and greenery. Call this place a temple with a view. So the main temple is right there on the peak, which is only open on Deepavali. And this one, Deviramma Temple, both are Deviramma, and this one opens daily. After the temple, we went back to the property, which happens to be surrounded by coffee plantations. So I saw these ripe coffee cherries recently picked from the plants and lying under the sun to get dried up, which will soon turn into something like this. So it was a great experience looking around the property and seeing these soon-to-be coffee beans around me. Then we ended our day by visiting Hirekolale Lake, which is situated on the foothills of Mullayanagiri Hills. This was such a beautiful, peaceful place where I was lucky enough to find no tourists at all. At night, enjoyed a bonfire and realized that I really underestimated the cold of South India. Also, the sky was full of stars. The next day we started the day really early in the morning because South India में जो views होते हैं from 9 AM onwards वो सारा misty होने लग जाता है and we really wanted to enjoy the views. Our first stop of the day was Mullayanagiri Hills, which happens to be the highest peak in Karnataka. I'm at Mullayanagiri Peak and look at the view behind me. There is a lake. The sky is dividing into two bodies of the layer. It is forming. The mountains, the nature is so beautiful. And the best part, or maybe not, is that you can bring your vehicle to the top and then you have to climb 500 to 600 steps. And it will take max 15 to 20 minutes to get this view. But I would also recommend you coming in the morning because otherwise around 9 or 10 this sun rays will get very strong and you will feel very hot. So I will recommend you to come early morning. It will be very cold. I underestimated the cold of the Ghats, the eastern western Ghats. So उस जगह से थोड़ा सा और ऊपर चढ़ के this temple is there, which says we are at 6,300 feet above sea level, and this is a local temple which I don't know what it is because I can see cows behind here. So I am a little confused. Where is the temple? I've crossed those cows and I can see the temple now here. Mullayanagiri, we were headed to Jhari Falls or Dabdabe Falls.
So यहाँ रोड से फॉल्स तक पहुँचने के लिए एक जीप लेनी पड़ती है as private vehicles are not permitted due to the road conditions and per jeep costs $800 for 4 to 6 people.
This place is also known as Buttermilk Falls because of the way its water cascades down the rocky terrain, resembling the flow of buttermilk.
So this is the actual Baba Budangiri Peak. If you can see right behind me, it's beautiful. And this is where we went to, I think, Baba Budangiri Mandir, which had Mandir on one side and Masjid on the other side. And I would recommend you skipping that and coming here. By the way, that's the Deviramma Temple on the peak I was talking about yesterday. And that is the temple we were at yesterday.
Last day in Chikmagalur, and I've saved the best for the last, a tour in the coffee plantation. But before we dive into the world of coffee, let me share a fascinating tidbit. तो कल जिस पीक पे हम गए थे उसको बाबा बुदानगिरी कहते हैं एंड वहाँ पे बाबा बुदान मेडिटेट करते थे एंड वो फेमस इसलिए हैं बिकॉज ही वाज द फर्स्ट वन हु प्लांटेड कॉफी इन चिकमंगलूर. नाउ इट हैज बिकम अ थ्राइविंग कॉफी स्टेट. Alright, let's jump into the tour now. Our guide spoke in Kannada, but we found a translator to help us along.
Since I was traveling in January, तो वो beans का harvesting season था.
Only once a year they pluck, and this is the time they pluck.
It starts from November and goes till February. March April में वापस they regrow into green and then takes 9 months to turn into red.
April to grow into green. Okay. Reds go to the left, the green go to the right.
Coffee के अलावा भी there are two more ways to generate income from this coffee estate. One of which is that they have silver oak trees. So silver oak tree से furniture भी बनता है, plywood भी बनता है. But why does that tree exist in this place? Is because वो shade provide करता है इन coffee plants को. And जब उनको sunlight देने का time आता है, they cut off the stems so that these coffee plants can get the required sunlight.
Who breaks down the branches of the trees. He has to climb up top the tree and break. And from just 9 in the morning to 1, he charges 1,500 rupees. 1,500.
And second way of generating income is black pepper, which trails around the silver oak tree. So the process is they collect these green and red coffee cherries. The green ones are dried for 7 days like we saw yesterday and the color changes to brown. And this whole process is called curing. And in this process, the beans are differentiated on the basis of their quality in A, B, C category.
Okay, so bigger the size, higher the rate, but the taste doesn't change.
It's a 30-acre area and 25 lakhs per year is spent on maintaining it, including labor, medicines, etc.
Okay. Reds go to the left, the green go to the right. So I'll explain. If in a plant, the majority of the beans are red, then they weed out the greens, and there is no use of the greens. But why they weed out is because they optimize for labor. So if there are lesser greens, then it's better to pluck and let it start all over again. Then because the labor cost would be much. That's so beautiful, right? Because they are optimizing for both labor, price, their work.
But why don't they wait for the maximum of them to go?
Yeah, because then the cost of labor would be the two reasons. One is cost of labor for plucking less number of this thing will become very high because he'll have to go pluck a lot, have to go and all that. And the second, as you said, the cycle, you'll have to again wait. So 3 months for that to become red, and then once it is plucked, wait another 6 months or something,
Okay,
4
because
months for
all
it.
of them will not
Yeah.
turn red at the same time.
No, yeah. So it nothing else will grow until those green ones are there. Distance between
Two stems will be 6 to 7 feet. And in that much area,
you can only put 900 plants.
Okay, in 30 acres. 1 or
1 acre. Again, it depends on whether the rain came properly, whether they have cut the weeds out properly, and everything. There's no insect and this thing. If everything's ideal, end product they get
50 kilo ki 500 bags.
yeah. Then 15,000 rupees per bag is the market price.
So 25 tons.
Yeah, but what he's saying is sometimes that 15,000 can become 10,000
Per acre.
for a small plant to give first seeds, and plants live until 30 years. Now, coffee grows for 25, or basically this plant has been growing for 25 years and is giving a lot of revenue. But you never know when that insect will come, because the insect is very small and it lays eggs on the bark of the circumference of the bark, and it drills a hole in it, and that kills the plant. So it's very important to identify it earlier on that such a thing is happening and put the medicine. But you can never say even how deep is the impact. So sometimes it kills the tree, which is complete loss of revenue because it's been growing for 25 years, or sometimes it doesn't. Okay. And I asked him, why don't you do it as a precautionary measure? Because why don't you do it before this thing? He said the time the time by which it acts and the effect goes away is very less, so you'll have to keep doing it every 2 days, and that's a waste of a lot of medicine.
So once they sell these beans, उसके बाद the further process is कि they roast these beans into light, medium and dark categories, and then they grind it and sell it in the market. So that's about it from this video. I hope you like it. If you did, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.